This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Hindu.
At the mega protest in Trichy, the Queen Bee slams the DMK government over mismanagement of farmers in the state, blames the government for taking no steps to curb price rise. Meanwhile, Jayalalitha also says she will keep her alliance options open, hints that the DMK Congress combined may not last too long.
She wants to keep the door open for Congress to come up. Whether it happens or not is a different matter.
The Canadian government speaks exclusively to NDTV Hindu, says they will screen all the 500 for security threats. The city police are on their feet ahead of Independence Day, a round-the-clock vigil to be maintained. And Chennai Live invites the reality format to the radio waves. We bring you a sneak peek. This is News Tonight on NDTV Hindu, and I'm Evelyn Matthew. A look at what's making headlines in the rest of the country. The Prime Minister makes a strong indictment of irregularities and slippages in the Commonwealth Games, the Cabinet Secretary to oversee the CWG work. No let-up in the violence in Kashmir Valley. Curfew is reimposed in Srinagar. The Chief Minister heads a high-level security meet. Tension in Kerala builds as PDP leader Abdul Madani, the accused in the Bangalore blast, may be arrested soon. And an injured Dinesh Karthik leaves Captain Cool, only hoping for the best in Dambulla. The big political story that's been our focus today, the district of Trichy was the main opposition, the AIADMK's destination today. In a large turnout at the huge protest presided by Ms. Jayalalitha, the General Secretary of the AIADMK was quite vocal today about the state of corruption that the agricultural sector of the state has fallen into. More than 2 lakh people are believed to have been part of that rally. Fourth in her series of protests, she slammed the DMK government for its inability to help the farmers in the state. Jayalalitha said that farmers were in dire straits due to the lack of water and electricity. She said that the cultivation in the Delta region has depleted because the DMK government was unable to get justice for Tamil Nadu in the Kaveri water dispute. Attacking the family of Karunanidhi, she alleged that MK Aragiri has been sidelined all this long as he was married to a Dalit woman.
இதே நிலைமை நீடித்தால் இன்னும் 5 ஆண்டுகளில் தமிழ்நாட்டில் விவசாயமே அடியோடு இல்லாமல் போய்விடும் என்று பல விவசாயிகள் கவலையுடன் கூறுகின்றனர். நம்முடைய பயிர்களுக்கு பாசனம் செய்வதற்கு நாம் ஏன் கர்நாடகாவை சார்ந்திருக்க வேண்டும் என்று நீங்கள் கேட்கலாம். பாசனத்திற்கு நம்முடைய நிலத்தடி நீரை நாம் ஏன் பயன்படுத்தக்கூடாது? வரம்பு மீறிய மணல் கொள்ளை காரணமாக ஆறுகளின் தரைமட்டம் இறங்கிவிட்டது. இதன் காரணமாகத்தான் நிலத்தடி நீரை வைத்து பயிர் செய்ய முடியாத நிலை தற்போது ஏற்பட்டுள்ளது. வேளாண் உற்பத்தி குறைவதற்கு இதுவும் ஒரு காரணம். கருணாநிதியினுடைய ஆட்சி இனியும் நீடித்தால் தமிழகத்தில் உணவு பஞ்சம் தான் வரும் என்பதை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். வேளாண் உற்பத்தி குறைந்தாலும் உணவுப் பொருட்களை இறக்குமதி செய்து கொள்ளலாம் என்று சிலர் கூறுகின்றனர். இது ஆபத்தானதாகும். இது போன்ற நடவடிக்கையின் மூலம் விலைவாசி மேலும் உயரும் என்பதை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன்.
Meanwhile, many homes and offices in the state had no power at all during that protest. Districts in Namakkal and Salem were in the dark for a couple of hours. That's 4 hours long, actually. Meanwhile, the AIADMK called that a sabotage attempt by the DMK government to dislodge the successful rally. Power now, though, has been restored. Jayalalitha also said that the DMK was rattled by the massive support which she received at Coimbatore recently.
ஜூலை மாதம் 13ஆம் தேதி கோவையில் எனது தலைமையில் பிரம்மாண்டமான கண்டன பொதுக்கூட்டம் நடந்தது. அங்கே திரண்ட மக்கள் வெள்ளம் கருணாநிதிக்கு கிலியை உண்டாக்கிவிட்டது, நடுக்கத்தை ஏற்படுத்தியது. அடுத்த தேர்தலில் தோல்வியைத்தான் சந்திக்க நேரிடுமோ என்ற மரண பயம் வந்துவிட்டது.
Amma didn't spare the DMK over the killing of fishermen by the Sri Lankan Navy as well. She said that the DMK spoiled the fishermen's livelihood by handing over the Kachativa land to the Sri Lankan government, and fishermen then became easy targets of the Lankan Navy. She also said Karunanidhi was in power due to the support provided by the Congress.
மீன் பிடிக்கவும் வலைகளை காய வைக்கவும் தமிழக மீனவர்களுக்கு மிகவும் உதவியாக இருந்த கச்சத்தீவை 1974 இலங்கைக்கு தாரை வார்த்து கொடுத்து மீனவர்களின் வாழ்வாதாரத்தையே அழித்தவர் கருணாநிதி. இதன் விளைவாக தமிழக மீனவர்கள் இலங்கை கடற்படையினரால் கண்மூடித்தனமாக தாக்கப்படுவதும் சுட்டுக் கொல்லப்படுவதுமான நிகழ்வுகள் தொடர்கதையாகி வருகின்றன. காங்கிரஸ் ஆதரவு அளிப்பதால் தான் கருணாநிதி அரசு நீடித்துக் கொண்டிருக்கிறது. காங்கிரஸை அமைச்சரவையில் சேர்த்துக் கொள்ளக்கூடிய பரந்த மனம் கருணாநிதிக்கு இல்லை. ஆனால் தனது குடும்ப உறுப்பினர்களுக்கும் திமுகவினருக்கும் வளம் கொழிக்கும் இலாக்காக்களை மத்திய அமைச்சரவையில் பெற்றுக்கொண்டார். இதுதான் கருணாநிதியின் தரம்.
Senior journalist S. Murari joined us and pointed out that Jayalalitha was quite soft on the ruling party's alliance, the Congress, hinting that she may be keeping her options open before the assembly elections that's coming up next year.
So you have to, she is concentrating all her fire on Karunanidhi to the exclusion of all other parties. She wants to keep the door open for Congress to come up. Whether it happens or not is a different matter. But once the elections are announced and Congress is seen to be in the company of DMK, then she will go all out attack. After all, she called Sonia Gandhi as a woman who was not faithful to even to her own husband. So that kind of vituperative attack on Congress you can expect if it is seen to be going to the election, in the next election going with the DMK in the next election. It's quite possible. You know the Congress culture, it's high command culture. So the Delangovan is one person who has been so openly talking about it, that this is very unfair. With 15 MPs you are having 5 ministers or 6 ministers or whatever. With 36 MLAs you are not having any representation at all. And Karunanidhi has said this kind of talk will strain the relationship between the two parties. But why blame Karunanidhi when Sonia Gandhi is agreeable to Congress not taking a claim, forcing the issue on this matter? Why blame Congress?
Well, the AIDMK's General Secretary also took the opportunity to call Tamil Nadu the land of fakes, saying that the number of fake doctors and police stations uncovered, it's now no wonder that these are the achievements of the DMK.
தற்போது தமிழ்நாட்டில் பல்வேறு துறைகளில் எத்தனை போலி பட்டதாரிகள் மற்றும் முதுநிலை பட்டதாரிகள் இருக்கிறார்கள் என்பது நமக்கு தெரியாது. எத்தனை போலி மருத்துவர்கள் மனித உயிர்களுடன் விளையாடுகிறார்களோ, எத்தனை போலி பொறியாளர்கள் பாலங்களையும் கட்டிடங்களையும் கட்டுகிறார்களோ, இவை எல்லாவற்றையும் மிஞ்சும் அதிசயமாக சென்னைக்கு அருகே ஆதம்பாக்கத்தில் போலி காவல் நிலையமும் போலி நீதிமன்றமும் செயல்படும் அளவிற்கு நிலைமை சீரழிந்து விட்டது. இவைகளெல்லாம் மைனாரிட்டி திமுக அரசின் தலை சிறந்த சாதனைகள்.
In other news, the arrival of a large group of Sri Lankan refugees in Canada has surprised many. It comes in the wake of regular claims by the Sri Lankan government that it was resettling Tamil refugees to their original homes as quickly as possible. There are growing doubts now about the actual condition of the refugees.
Canadian naval boats escorted MV Sunsea with 490 Sri Lankan Tamils on board. Among them, there are young children, including a 6-month-old baby and a pregnant woman. The arrival of the refugee ship in Canada comes as Sri Lanka claims it is doing everything possible to resettle its displaced Tamil citizens. Canada has also expressed security concerns over the arrival.
This afternoon, a vessel carrying 490 individuals claiming refugee status, including suspected human smugglers and terrorists, has entered our water, and the Canadian government is taking action.
At the seaport in southwest British Columbia, the refugees were taken to the Victoria General Hospital. Many of them are suspected to be down with TB and other diseases after the long, dangerous journey.
They are out there waiting for their hearings. They're living with the families that, relatives or the people that don't have relatives here are living with host families, taking English classes, checking in with immigration once in a while, and getting ready to basically become a part of Canadian society.
We also have very sophisticated legal means at our disposal to address genuine security threats or any concerns about criminality.
If we find that there are security risks, then they have to be sent home. But in Canada, we do it one by one. That's the way we ought to do it on this boat.
The arrival of refugees in Canada has raised doubts about the seriousness of Sri Lankan President Mahinda Rajapaksa's claims that Tamil refugees are being restored to their original homes from camps. In Chennai, with Sai Manish, J. Santosh, NDTV Hindu.
Back to news from the state. Ahead of Independence Day celebrations in the city, security has been tightened. More than 5,000 police personnel will be roving the city to step up the security arrangements in place. The police are also deploying more personnel around high-value targets such as the Reserve Bank of India and other public places. The Swift Action Group would maintain round-the-clock vigil around the Secretariat. Vehicles entering and exiting the city are already being thoroughly checked by the police. The Egmore and the Central Railway stations are expected to become literal fortresses. All passengers will be forced to enter and exit only through the metal detector door frame. The Kamarajar Salai too will be completely barricaded and no vehicular traffic will be allowed for the entire day. And joining us this evening on News Tonight Live is the Additional Commissioner of Police for Law and Order, Greater Chennai, Mr. Shakil Akhtar. Thanks very much indeed, sir, for joining us this evening. What areas should we consciously stay away from? Tell us a little bit more about the security arrangements in place.
For the celebration of Independence Day, we have divided our security arrangement in few segments. One is that we go for continuous check of different lodges and unwanted elements on the road. That's continuing since yesterday evening. Then second part of bandobast is for the actual function place. So function place also have been divided to different sectors for the better security provision point of view. And we have employed almost 5,000 officers and men to look after the bandobast, and each sector is headed by our Deputy Commissioner of Police, Supervisor, Joint Commissioner of Police. Proper traffic arrangement has been made, especially these two area passes have been issued so that one segment has entry up to certain places, other segment has entry up to different places. And for the different locations where we found is vulnerable, all the security people have been put into places. We have identified certain high value target area. Those places also we have deployed our officers and men to take care of the security arrangement.
Right, sir, it is quite an important day, but has the police received any intelligence alert of a possible threat to any of the celebrations tomorrow?
The general alert message comes especially on those kind of occasions. So there's nothing specific, but the general alert has come and we have taken into those points into consideration.
Right, now there were news reports, Mr. Akhtar, about intelligence agencies in America issuing a warning to India about possible terrorist strikes in the country in the near future. Do you believe Chennai could be a target at all?
As you know, whenever this kind of functions is being organized, we are always on the high security alert situation and thinking worst thing in our mind, what can be the possibility of any kind of scenario. We plan from that point of view. So our arrangement has been taking all those aspects into consideration, and any kind of situations can be handled quite well.
Right. Thanks very much, Mr. Shakil Akhtar, for joining us this evening on News Tonight, and keep up the good work by your department. Now, still ahead on the bulletin, time to make some noise for a reality check on the radio. Chennai Live makes another first attempt in the city's soundscape.